Your body is holding a secret it cannot speak. Not in words, not in memories, but in voltage. Trapped electricity frozen in your tissues, humming beneath your skin like a phone left on vibrate for decades. You have been told that trauma is a story you need to talk through, a ghost in your mind that therapy can exorcise. This is the most expensive lie you have ever believed. Trauma is not psychological, it is physical. It is an incomplete biological reflex locked in your fascia, and it is draining your life force every second you do not discharge it. Today you will learn what animals know instinctively, what ancient masters cultivated deliberately, and what modern science is now desperate to explain. You will learn how to turn your body into a lightning rod for its own healing, how to melt years of frozen stress into liquid electricity, and how to complete a survival cycle that has been stuck on repeat since your very first childhood fear. This is the trauma shake, not exercise, not meditation, a biological kill switch for stress that you were born with, taught to suppress, and are now about to reclaim. Let me take you inside the architecture of your survival. Deep in your core, running from the lumbar spine through the pelvis and into the femur, lies a muscle that determines whether you live in freedom or in armor, the psoas major. In Taoist tradition, they call it the muscle of the soul. In biomechanics, it is your primary hip flexor. But in the language of your nervous system, it is the guardian of the freeze response. When your brain perceives threat, whether it is a predator in the grass or a hostile email in your inbox, your reptilian brain sends an instantaneous signal to the psoas. Contract, pull the body into fetal position, protect the soft underbelly. This is the beginning of fight or flight, the mobilization of survival energy. Here is what happens in the wild. The threat passes, the animal shakes, violently, uncontrollably. It discharges that massive kinetic charge, completing the cycle, returning to neutral. But you sit in traffic, you sit in meetings, you swallow your rage, you hold your breath. You have been socially conditioned to keep it together, to be professional, to not make a scene. And because that energy is never discharged, the psoas stays contracted, it stays frozen. Over months, over years, this chronic tension signals to your brain that you are still in danger. It creates a feedback loop of hypervigilance. Your anxiety is not in your head, it is in your hip flexors, screaming that the tiger is still there when it is long gone. The trauma is not a memory, it is a voltage trapped in tissue. But the psoas is only the battery. The circuitry that traps it and the key that releases it is the material that wraps every inch of your body like a second skin, your fascia. For decades, medical textbooks treated fascia as packing material, the plastic wrap of anatomy. We now know it is a liquid crystalline matrix that connects your toes to your tongue, a sensory organ richer in nerve endings than your skin, and a piezoelectric superconductor that turns mechanical pressure into bioelectricity. Piezo, from the Greek word for pressure. Quartz crystals do it, your bones do it, the collagen fibers in your fascia do it. When you compress them, they generate voltage. When you move, you are a battery charging. When you are traumatized, the fascia dehydrates. It turns from a fluid gel into a stiff solid, freezing the energetic charge of past events into the physical structure of your body. You are literally carrying the voltage of every unprocessed moment, every swallowed scream, every held breath, crystallized in your connective tissue. Stretching cannot reach this. Stretching pulls on fibers but does not change the state of the matrix. You need seismic vibration. You need to generate a specific frequency that melts the ice back into water, that rewrites the electrical signal trapped in the crystalline structure. You need to shake. Watch the trauma switch in action. A polar bear is hunted, it runs, adrenaline floods its system. If cornered, it plays dead, the freeze response, a last-ditch survival gambit. The threat leaves. The bear does not simply stand and walk away. It convulses, it shakes violently for minutes, sometimes hours. This is called neurogenic tremoring. It is the nervous system's completion protocol, discharging adrenaline, cortisol, and the kinetic memory of near death. When the shaking stops, the bear breathes deep and the trauma is gone. No PTSD, no hypervigilance, complete homeostasis. Humans are the only animal that suppresses this mechanism. We interpret shaking as weakness, as pathology, as loss of control. We medicate it, we fear it. By suppressing the tremor, we trap the survival cycle in the on position, running background anxiety programs that drain our batteries for decades. But the ancients knew. In Qigong, they practiced shaking the heavenly pillar. In Taoist inner arts, they called it clearing the turbidity. They understood that to clear the spirit, you must vibrate the vessel. They knew that by voluntarily inducing the shake, you could access the involuntary release, manually flipping the trauma switch that modern life has forced into the off position. Now, the protocol. This is how you perform the bioelectric shake to utilize piezoelectricity for trauma release. You can do this upon waking to clear the night's accumulation, or before sleep to discharge the day's stress. Phase 1, the pump. Stand with feet shoulder-width apart. Unlock your knees. This is critical. Locked knees block the current. You must create a circuit with the earth. Begin to bounce gently from the knees. Do not jump with your calves. Simply drop your weight and catch it. Thump, thump, thump. Mechanical impact sending piezoelectric waves up through the skeletal structure and into the fascial web. Keep shoulders completely loose. Let arms hang like wet ropes, dead weight, conductors waiting for charge. Phase 2, the chaos. As you bounce, surrender structure. Shake the wrists, shake the elbows. Most critically, unlock the jaw. The jaw and pelvis are neurologically married through the trigeminal nerve and the psoas complex. If your jaw is clenched, your psoas is locked. Open your mouth, exhale with sound, a long audible ha. Let the vibration travel from floor to palate. Phase 3, the discharge. Now increase intensity. Imagine shaking sticky mud from your hands and feet. Visualize gray stagnant energy dislodging from your organs, your diaphragm, your solar plexus. You are turning fascial ice back into liquid. You are generating voltage through percussive impact. Continue for 3 to 5 minutes. If you feel heat building in your core, that is piezoelectric charge accumulating. If emotion rises, anger, grief, unexpected laughter, let it happen. That is the energy leaving the tissue, completing its circuit, finally allowed to move. Phase 4, the rebound. This is where transformation occurs. Stop completely. Stand perfectly still. Close your eyes. Feel the buzzing, that tingling running down your arms and legs like warm water. That is not imagination. That is qi. That is the piezoelectric current you generated now flowing through hydrated, conductive fascial pathways. In this stillness, your nervous system recalibrates. You are teaching your body at the cellular level that it is safe to let go. You are shifting from sympathetic dominance, fight or flight, into parasympathetic restoration. This is where healing happens, not in the shaking, but in the silence after, when the body finally believes the danger has passed. You do not need to carry the weight of your past in your posture. Your body is not a machine that wears out. It is a battery that needs discharge, a crystalline matrix that needs vibration to maintain its liquid state. The physics of movement is the physics of healing. Shake the vessel, generate the light, release the old code. The trauma was never meant to stay. It was meant to move through you, like weather, like electricity seeking ground. You have the switch. You always did. Use it.